Hi guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. I just stopped in to say hi. I may have just seen a movie. I'm not going to tell you which movie it is. This was a solid freaking movie. I want you to understand what I mean when I say that. This movie was so darn good. I'm going to argue, I'm going to argue that it was better than the Superman movie. And I loved the Superman movie. It was just that good. Holy crap. It's fantastic. I'm here. Okay. Yeah. This was this was such a solid flick. Um, so there were two end credit scenes. The last one, I can spoil it because it's nothing. You can miss it and it doesn't mean anything. The one all the way at the end is literally just, "Hey, what's up, Lewis?" It was literally just you know what? I say fantastic all the time, so I don't even think about it. I just say it, but it was amazing. Um, the end credits, the very final end credit scene, which is just a nothing throwaway scene, is just a little bit of the cartoon that they made. It's not the real one of the real cartoons that happened. It's just a quick little cartoon thing, and they show them beating up on I think they had him beating up on the Mad Thinker. They had them beating up on Red Ghost and the Super Apes. Had them beating up on the Mole Man, and I think there was a fourth scene where they're beating up on somebody else also, and I don't know. Um, hey, John, what's up? Derek, how you guys doing? Actually, it is really freaking hot. Wow, no power. That sucks. So, I'm gonna try and keep this just on the movie for right now, guys. Look, I could say I'm gonna say the things that I didn't like about the movie. There are exactly 2, all right? There was yeah, the idea that the Silver Surfer was actually, Shala Ball. She didn't have the same gravitas, all right? The graphics didn't hold up quite the same in the Rise of the Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four Part 2, with the Jessica Alba and Michael Chiklis and all that. But what they did do was they had Lawrence Fishburne's voice. Here, this girl's voice, Julia Gardner, I think it is, it was just like, it sounded very sweet. That's really all it was. It sounded very sweet. She's got a very pretty voice. I want a voice that's gonna terrify me, because I will tell you this, when they showed Galactus, I'm not gonna say I was scared, but I sat forward. I'm just like, "Oh, shoot. What the heck?" Like, it was a little yeah, it was very hard to hear his voice, very hard for me. Maybe it was just my ears, but, it was very hard to hear his voice, because the way he's talking and everything is just it was weird. Um so yeah, having her there, you know what would have been good is besides having if you didn't wanna have Norrin Rad, the actual Silver Surfer, what they could have done was actually have, what is it called? Frankie Ray, because we got a storm brewing over here. If the power goes out, or if I disappear, it's because the power went out. There's a storm brewing over here, and yeah, it's hot over here also. Anyway, I think Galactus might be coming. The Herald may be coming. But if they would have had Frankie Ray, do you remember the Nova? Not Richard Rider Nova. I'm talking about Frankie Ray, the Fantastic Four's Nova, as it were. That would have been cool because they had to make something that Johnny Storm was going to be interested in. The only thing that it would have changed is that it wouldn't have been a human Frankie Ray. It would have been a different alien. You could have made her freaking Zenlai if you want, like from Zenla also. There's anything that you could have done, but you didn't have to go and make it the female Silver Surfer. That's the only thing, like, boom. After that, the only other thing I could possibly complain about is that Ben Grimm wasn't very ornery. He was very calm. He had a very cool demeanor, right? His voice, it wasn't that gravelly or anything. The scene where he's testing the pasta was actually in it. It's funny because the guy's made out of rock, right? And he's naturally dirty. Think about it. He's made of rock, so he's naturally dirty. And Johnny Storm comes up and he's doing the exact same thing, tasting the pasta, and he's like, "What are you doing? Go wash your hands. Go wash your hands. What are you doing?" Ben didn't wash his hands, and he's dirt. So it's just one of those things where it's like, um, I took my boys age 12 and 10 to see it. I may go, and I took my wife to go and see it also. My wife has, these 2 kids, with me. That's important. Hey, Joe, because, this could have been a Mother's Day release. Actually, that's what my wife said. She's like, "This would have been a great movie to see on Mother's Day." And yeah, I 100% agree because look, Sue Storm was not the leader of this team. The scenes were like, I'm not a huge fan of Pedro Pascal. Look, I loved him in Game of Thrones, right? The bisexual super warrior. I was just like, this guy is awesome, right? Spoilers for a 10-year-old TV series. He shouldn't have died so quick. Not much of a spoiler. Everybody dies in Game of Thrones. I mean, like, seriously, who lived? Nobody, everybody, even the person who's like, well, this person lived. Actually, that person died also and just got brought back. So, he died also. But the point is that, yeah, everybody died, even if they died on the inside. So, what I'm saying is that they could have, mm, um, what do you call it? Anyway, yeah, Pedro Pascal, they brought him into the Mandalorian. He was like it, as soon as he took off his mask, I'm like, he doesn't look like what I imagine a Mandalorian being, and he should have taken off the mask. He's just got more of a dad thing. And yes, I agree that what's her name, Vanessa Kirby, constantly rubbing the neck and touching and kissing on Pedro Pascal in interviews is really disturbing since she's married to somebody else. That's really disturbing, majorly so. But that's her and her husband's issue. Um, yeah. But as far as her role in this movie, she was amazing. She was ridiculously powerful. Bringing her power levels to the level that she brought it had a toll on her, and it was exerted, and it made sense. Um, Pedro Pascal was fantastic in the movie. I'm not saying fantastic on purpose, but he was with the stupid mustache and everything. He kind of like Caesar Romano. You remember the original Joker from the 69 or 60, 68, 66 Batman, whatever that was, right? The original Batman with Burt Ward and who the heck played Batman? I know his name, Adam West, right? Caesar Romano was playing the Joker and he still had his mustache. He just put the face paint over top of his mustache. It's like, Caesar, what are you doing, man? You're not that well known. In fact, when it comes down to it, the only thing we're ever going to remember you for is the Joker. You should have shaved your freaking face. Anyway, it's like that. Like, what are you doing with this mustache at this point? But he played a great Mr. Fantastic. Ben Grimm again. He didn't get upset. He was very calm. He was funny. He wasn't ornery about anything. He didn't freak out on Johnny Storm or anything. So that was a little bit like, they could have done that. Um, I know, right, John? Johnny Storm. Speaking of John, Johnny Storm was actually a good Johnny Storm. I didn't know if they would be able to do a better version than what Chris there's Chris Hemsworth, there's Chris Pine, and then there's Chris Captain America. Anyway, him, Chris Evans. I'm usually so bad at names. I'm not sure why I'm doing so good now. Anyway, boom, yeah, he did a great job in this. He did a really good job. He was a lot smarter than he should have been, But, like, yeah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Yeah, you know what, Joe Fisher? He would be a great Zorro. Holy crap! I would love to see him as Zorro, and 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 I wanna see Antonio Banderas being his mentor. That's what I wanna see. That would be amazing. Hey, Mark McKeever, what's going on, man? Yeah, it was really fun. This was such a spectacular movie. Like I said, guys, as strange as it's gonna sound, I actually thought this was better than Superman. And my family loved Superman, right? The 3D glasses, the 3D thing. If you want to avoid seeing it in 3D, you want to save yourself some money, perfectly fine. There was nothing spectacularly 3D about it. I didn't go to see an IMAX, probably should have. Maybe next time I will, just for the sake, right? It was made for the IMAX. It says it in the end credits and everything. Um, yeah. Oh, Franklin Richards does happen in this movie. All right. That's kind of sort of a spoiler because they did a good job of hiding the things that happen in this movie. Almost everything that happened in this movie was stuff that we saw in the trailer happened in the beginning of the movie. Almost everything. But it was wholesome. It really was family friendly. I'd bring my kids to see it again. I'd let them go see it by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like really spectacular movie. Um, there was there's a fan favorite comic book character who actually appears multiple times in this movie that I did not know was going to appear in this movie. I don't want to reveal it. Um, Derek, you can call me up and ask me about it if you want later. But holy crap, I was so happy to see this character actually in the movie. I'm gonna have to make a short for this movie, guys. If you don't know, I know a lot of people aren't getting their notifications if you hit the bell for my things. Every single morning for the past several months, I've been putting out a 1 minute or less YouTube short about a different character. I went through pretty much everybody in the Flash family. I'm doing Spider-Man right now. I'm doing, a lot of the Spider-Man characters. I did Godzilla. I did the Shogun Warriors. I did Red Ronin for crying out loud. So like I went into depth, like finding, a whole bunch of people and whatnot to put together for these. So anyway, I put out a whole bunch of characters. Every single morning at 7:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I put out a new YouTube short of another character. So if you're not getting those, then get rid of the bell icon and bring it back in again. You know what I'm saying? So that you can get these notifications, or just so you're reminded, so you can see these YouTube shorts. I think I'm going to start putting some on TikTok and Instagram also, just because. I don't know if I can actually monetize those things or not, but whatever. It's not the most important thing in the world to me. It opens me up to start doing more things. But I'm actually so far ahead of this that I've got scheduled until August 15th all these YouTube shorts, and I'm still putting out more. So yeah, and no AI voice. It's my voice. I'm actually writing these things down. I'm doing my own research to remind myself everything about these characters and fitting it all inside of a minute, and then boom, actually putting them out there. Anyway, so I got to do one for this character also. I'll try and do it tonight, and then you'll see it tomorrow, and that'll be your spoiler of who it is. There'll be the regular character that I'm doing, and then sometime later in the day or whatever, there'll be this other character. Anyway, yeah, nothing happened in this movie that I wouldn't say is cool. The I do kind of I don't need to get into the first end credit scene. So mid credit, I don't have to get into the mid credits. Again, the end credit scene was cute. It was whatever. If you don't want to stay for it, like I said, it's just, quick little spoiler. It's a stupid cartoon. It's like 5 to 6 seconds of lightning, thunder, of a Thor's out there doing his thing, just doing his thing or whatever. It's like it's a whatever. It is what it is. Bricks in a minute. But But the first end credit, the mid-credit scene, of course, you're gonna wanna stay for that. Everybody was just like, "Oh!" And I think you'll know what it is in general, like a very basic understanding of what it is. It's so obvious what was gonna happen, but you still see it and you get a little bit goosebumps inside. So yeah, it's worth staying for them, saying who the main cast was. And there's actually cool little graphics, not just graphics, extra scenes. Like there's this one scene where in the beginning of the movie where Sue Storm is catching this giant 7 Up ice cube thing or whatever, and she's holding it in the middle of the air. It looks very Superman-esque. She's holding it in the air with her force field before it crashes on the ground. You don't actually see her putting it on the ground. Well, in the after the movie goes over and the end credits are going and they're saying, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, and they're showing her do things, they show her actually putting it down. So it's like, oh, so they'll do little things that you saw in the movie, but you never saw the other part of it. So you see that for these main characters in there. Yeah, and then immediately after that, there's the mid-credits scene. So yeah, they're all fun. They're enjoyable. Um, that's really it, guys. I don't know what else there is to say about this. It was a really wonderful movie. Um, take your wife to go see this movie, especially if you've got kids. Guys, take your wife to see the movie because there is the little bit of a spoiler here. There is the birth of Franklin Richards in this and all the stuff that goes, involved in that. Like, holy crap. And it was really like they actually got a midwife to consult with them on certain things in this. And my wife, of course, who's just like, like she was like, I can't believe how good this was. Like I said, she said this should have been a Mother's Day release. I'm like, I don't think they'd make as much money on Mother's Day as they would in the summertime. But yeah, so darn good. I beyond belief at how good this one is. I told my wife, I was like, I'm buying this movie when it comes out. I'm going to go see it again. One of my daughters is going to come up and visit me and visit us um, from the States next week. So I'm going to take her and the boys. And the wife was probably going to want to go with me again to go see the movie again because it's really good. But yeah, is what it is. Hey, Nan. كيف حالك؟ يا أخ. So, uh, anyway, yeah, all sorts of cool things. Go see this movie. Look, there's nothing SJW about this movie. There's nothing that's going to tick a fan off. You know what I'm saying? It is exactly what it is. So, yeah. And I don't think there's anybody who's going to go in there and just be like, "No, I can't believe they did this." The worst thing they did was make Silver Surfer Shalabal instead of Norrin Rad. That's really it. So I don't think there's anybody who's going to go in here and say that it was bad. And if they do, you'll know a hater when you see them, right? Like these guys are on the hater raid, big time. Uh, I did not think that this was going to be good. But anyway, yeah. Um, Dave. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. Go see the movie. Go see the movie now. If you have time to go see the movie now, go see it. If not, book your tickets for tomorrow. This is gonna blow people out of the water. How good this was, heartwarming and everything. Beautiful movie, beautiful. And I went in with the lowest of expectations, just thinking, fine, I'll go see it. So darned good. Movies don't have any right to be this good. I'm not going to sit here and say the Marvel, the MCU is back, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is back. But if it were back, this actually makes me think maybe I should have watched Thunderbolts. So when Thunderbolts becomes available to watch on TV, fine, I guess I'll watch it. Because most of those movies that have been coming out, I haven't been watching them. So yeah, just to let you know how little I think of these, MCU movies anymore. But anyway, yeah, this was really good, and I'm gonna go see it in theaters again for sure, and I'm definitely gonna buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray because it's worth it. I want to see behind the scenes. I want more of this. This was so good. I really hope they make a part two. I really hope they bring them into. Oh, this was in. It says right in the beginning. This is on Earth 828 or something like that. 838, whatever it is. They made the number up, so it's not in the regular MCU. Um, but anyway, but I really hope to see these guys in the MCU proper because wow, it was so good. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Professor Bill, comic